Yo! Happy 4th of July. I would say Merry Christmas, motherfuckers, but that would not be appropriate because it's hot as shit outside. So today I want to talk about how 1776 was scripted. And what does that mean? I mean, I love this country. I'm an American. But I love it so much that I'm willing to call out the bullshit. Especially one that has plagued us throughout history and is continuing to plague us. And that is what started this country. That is what started the Revolutionary War. Benjamin Franklin went overseas to England to fight against this system before we even had the war. And then we continued to fight afterwards, and we kept getting slapped around. So this is a video about central banks, the American government, 1776, and why we need to put an end to the usury banking system before it kills us all. So, firstly, I want to start off with what is script money. I doubt most people have ever heard about it before. I don't think it's covered in history books, to be completely blunt. They don't want you knowing about this. Script money, 1691. Imagine you were part of the colonies, right? You're over in America. I'm not a history super buff, so I don't know at that time how many colonies there were. I know there's 13 before we became the United States of America. However, at 1691, I don't know how many. But it was invented in Massachusetts. That's the important part. And what it was work performed equals currency gained. We were printing and making our own currency. We were outside of the centralized banking system, that of England. England used the Central Bank of England. The Central Bank of England allows you to endlessly print money and then loan it out to people at an interest rate. This interest rate inherently increased inflation. This is because the endless printing of dollars creates a need to increase the cost of each unit of product you buy. This is because now there's more money, but there's the same amount of fucking product. So productivity does not also increase, but money supply increases. That's inflation. And that's currently what we're kind of going up into. But in 1691, we were independent of this inflation. We were like, no. England, you fucking cocks. You can keep that. We're good. And that didn't stay for long, right? We had few taxes. America at that time was booming. It was great. It was dank. Fuck all that tea shit. We don't need you guys. We got our tobacco and our whiskey. We're chilling over here in America. Keep your tea and crumpets. You can keep those all day. So, moving on from that, Benjamin Franklin eventually, from America, he went over to England and he met with a bunch of guys. It's going to be very loose here, guys. And he looked at society in England and he was like, whoa. You guys have a lot of slums. There's a lot of poor people. What the fuck is happening here? Why are there so many poor people? Why is there such inequity within society? Why are there so many unemployed? And he was shocked. And then they asked him, well, how do you guys do it over in America? And he was like, well, we use script money. Work performed equals work, money, currency gained. And we don't have endless amount of printing. We don't have endless amount of outside wars being caused, which require the country to then print more money and borrow it from that centralized banking entity, right? Because that's what's currently going on. They didn't have that. So we didn't have to worry about that hyperinflation, which causes the poor to really suffer because they don't have the funds required to purchase just the basic necessities. So they get poorer, whereas the rich, it doesn't fucking matter to them. So now they have the funds, which usually they get from this usury system, right? If you're rich, you can abuse the system. If you're poor, you get fucked by the system. That's just how it works, right? That's why the next 1776 needs to fucking happen very soon so we can finally fix this banking issue. We have to get rid of the central banks. We have to. I mean, like, we've tried throughout history, but at some point, you might just need to throw these people into an incinerator. Okay? Because it seems like they're pure evil. All they want is to subjugate humanity and enslave you. That's it. Through usury systems. They want to loan you out money that they can print out of thin air, and then you have to give them your actual dollar back, which is your work. So time that you spent to make money, now you have to give real money back to somebody that's loaning you something that they can print out of thin air. Make it make fucking sense. Make it make sense. Do it. Try. You can't? Good. Neither can I. All right. So yeah, he goes over to England. Getting back on track. 1764 currency bill. So this is England's response, basically, to Ben Franklin going over there. They're like, fuck you, dude. That shit's not happening. So they forbade the use of script money as legal tender, meaning that any type of interaction, right, transaction overseas with England, any private debt, public debt, whatever it may be, any transaction, you could not use this script money. You had to use money from the Bank of England. So now the US is like, whoa, wait. So like, we can't use our own money to buy your stuff. So how do we buy your stuff? And they're like, well, so I'm going to sell you this. This is not a fucking pyramid scheme, but I'm going to tell you how we're going to do this. It's not a pyramid scheme though. So what you're going to do is you're going to sell bonds, right? So you're a country and you want some of my money, okay? So I'm going to give you some of my money. So I'm going to go over my magical printer and I'm going to print out a bunch of these useless pieces of paper, this monopoly money, and I'm going to give it to you. And then in return, you're going to give me an interest rate of like 8%. Let's just say, yeah, that seems reasonable. So I just printed a bunch of fake money, and now you're going to give me back a bunch of fake money from transactions you made. Thus, I get to essentially steal your wealth, steal your time, steal your actual productivity for just being the one that invented the magical money printer in the first place. Isn't that cute? I fucking love that, dude. Oh man, we're so stupid. We're like, the fact we haven't gotten rid of these guys yet is insane to me. But that's what the point of July 4th is, right? Independence Day. You know, we should be looking at the systems that enslave us and being like, yo, what are we doing here? You gonna go out back? You gonna square up? You just want to charge me more? That's cool. Yeah, we need to just fight these people. At some point, we need to rise up and actually get rid of the systems that are enslaving us. But we'll see when that happens. We'll see who leads that charge. Who knows? But that's the part that I want to get into next, is the freedom from usury system and interest. And so, I guess, actually, I want to combine this with war and debt slavery, right? Because this is the current system. So, within this current system, how do these guys make all their money? Like, do they want people to be prosperous? Do they want businesses to do well? Or do they want indecision, despair, destruction? And why would they want what they've decided? Well, the thing is, war is the most profitable thing ever for them. Because let's take Lockheed Martin or Raytheon or one of the other, I'm not very good with weapons manufacturers. Like, is Blackwater one? Maybe they are. Okay? So you need a bunch of helicopters, jets, machine guns, bullets, all that bullshit. Okay? So the government's like, yo, I need money. And so the Federal Reserve Bank, they can print money and give it to these companies to buy those things. However, we don't have any money. So we owe somebody for that money. At the end of the day, through a bunch of rabbit holes and all this bullshit, a lot of the interest money is all going back to the IMF. It's a centralized bank that manages all the centralized banks. And then that bank is ultimately what gives all the other banks the power to create their money by loaning it back to that bank. And that bank doesn't have any fucking regulation. It's mind-boggling how crazy this system is. But we need to break free from this usury system, because the interest on all this money is creating not only fake wealth for people that don't deserve it, but it's causing hyperinflation for the people that aren't benefiting. There's no benefit to having all these interest rates. There's zero benefit. You're essentially paying interest to somebody that doesn't fucking work. Like, I'm sorry if you're a banker or you're in like the finances or that type of stuff, but like, unless you're actually managing portfolios and like helping to make people make money, most of these people are just looking at like interest rates and shit. That's pure fucking evil. That's just stealing money. That's all it is. It's just pure theft. And we need to break free from it because it bumps up the cost of literally everything. Nothing needs to cost what it does. And people don't need to work nearly as much as they do. We all need to take a fucking chill pill and realize that the only reason that life is so stressful right now is because there's a central bank that is holding a noose around your neck and it keeps fucking tightening. They don't care. They don't care. They want everything from you. And they'll never stop. Okay? So, and that's why we're in a state of war and debt slavery. Because if they can start wars, right? Because throughout time, I want you guys to understand, look in my eyes when I say this. There's a group of people, very small, that has implemented all these banks, all these central banks, expanded them across the world over thousands of years, right? So take all that power, all the interest that they've made, all that money. What do you think they've been doing with that money? They've been buying up assets, buying up power, buying up other people's decisions and their ability to impact the world, right? So they're buying off powerful people. They're buying up land. They're buying patents. They're getting government control. They have complete control over the money system. I mean, do you see where this is going? If it all comes collapsing to the ground and there's one group that has all the assets and everyone else has nothing, how does that work? No, we haven't thought about that one yet? Well, maybe we should start. Maybe we should just start, because right now is more important than 1776. We always look back on July 4th and we're like, oh my God, we're still independent. No, we're not. We're still slaves. We've always been slaves to the central banking system. Ever since you were born. You're just a business entity to them. They own you. That's why they call you a corpse when you die. Because you're a business. Sad. And so, I guess in summary, in message, I don't want to talk about banks anymore. But just freedom in general. You know, the meaning of 1776 is the willingness to give up everything to fight tyranny. Saying, I do not agree with that system. I don't agree with the way you're making me live my life. I want better. I want change, and I know it's possible, and I'm willing to die for that change so that the youth may live a better life. That is freedom. That is the energy of 1776. Okay? It's the same energy that goes into every single war. That's why war is terrible, but it's also incredibly beautiful. Because at the end of the day, what can we gain from that humongous loss of life? Because it's not meaningless. A lot of people look at wars, they look at, all the death, and they're like, oh my God, it's all for nothing. And I was like, no, it's beautiful. Don't disrespect those men. Don't disrespect them like that to say it's meaningless. They're fighting for something greater than them. And right now, Americans and people all over the fucking globe need to start waking up and fighting for something greater than themselves. Against a system that wants to enslave us by tearing us to pieces, by dividing us against each other, by making us see each other as different genders and having to use pronouns and, oh, you can't say that because you're white, or, oh, you cisgender this. All these different divisions, even political, whatever it may be, rich, poor, middle class. We need to come together instead of ripping apart, because together we're strong enough to fight against the very small group of people that are making things insanely fucking shitty. For no reason, guys. For no reason. Okay? You just have to look evil in the face and call it what it is. You have to say, you're evil. And I'm not going to stand for it. Fuck you guys. That's how this works. That's what being a man is. Getting mad. I mean, like, dude, I want kids. I don't know about you fucking guys. Don't you want kids? You want your kids growing up in a world where we're still bombing each other? Really? We still can't fucking get along? We still have to see on the news that there's hate crimes and racism? Why do we still have these fucking problems? Is this a joke? Like, is this actually a fucking joke? Who's running this shit? Because throw them out. Recycle them all. The actors, the celebrities, get rid of all of them. They're all trash. And they need to go. Evil needs to go. It's time. Love you guys. Happy 4th of July.